Would you take this $206 4-hour 200-mile trip? I did. Hi, my name is Levi, and this is the Tip You in the App Daily Drive. So I just got done charging the Tesla, and Uber gives me this. They're like, hey, Levi, why don't you go to New York City? It's $200. And I can't lie, I was really tempted to take the trip. Mainly because my goal for the day is like $200, give or take. So I was like, I already made some money. Let's go ahead and take that trip, and let's go ahead and get out of here. But there's a couple of things that prevented me from taking this trip. And I think the number one, the obvious reason why I did not take the trip was that it was 200 miles. And that means I'd have to go to New York City and drive 200 miles all the way back up to my house in Cazenovia. So it was like 4 hours, which means it's like 8, probably 9, maybe 9.5 hours on the road. And so $200 is that, I don't know. It just wasn't, the math wasn't working out, let's be honest, okay? However, I am a man of tips. I think tips are where it's at. And I think for a trip like this, I've done it before, I've earned $70 to $100 tip before. But the number one reason why I did not take this trip was the passenger rating, 4.8 something. And I was thinking to myself, there's no way that person is not going to tip me. And here's how I know that. It's just the law of averages, because of course I've gotten passengers with lower ratings that have tipped, and I've had 5-star passengers that don't tip. However, 1 week back in April, and I still owe you guys a video on this, I decided to measure the tippers. Who tips, who doesn't tip. And I looked at things like their names, I looked at locations, all of this kind of stuff, and I'll produce that video for you. But here's what I learned. Half of my 5-star passengers tipped. Once they hit about 4.9 and less, honestly, only about 25% of the people tipped. I'll put the numbers right here. And I'll get you guys that video, because that's a really interesting, fun video. You'd love it. It's really funny. All right. So I just didn't think I'd get a tip. My gut feeling was I wasn't going to get a tip, because if I had got a tip, I'd have done all right. But that's not the point of this video, because I think you wouldn't have taken that trip. I wouldn't have taken that trip. Somebody took the trip. In fact, I declined it. And then just a few minutes later, Uber tried to give me that same trip again at $199 or something like that. It was just horrible. Okay, so you and I wouldn't have taken that trip. But have you ever wondered, like, because I didn't take that trip, what did I get instead? And my friend Matt, he's part of the Drivers Coast to Coast family. He co-hosts with me and Lynn every Tuesday, or every Monday, excuse me, on X. You can join us. It's a great thing. I'll put the times here. All right. Now, hey, what's going on? Hey. Okay. Now, he says it's not in the trips that you take where you make your money. It's the trips that you don't take. There's a lot of wisdom in that. And even though you and I are obviously not going to take that trip, maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. I kind of almost did, but I didn't. Let me tell you what happened instead. Instead, I've got all my numbers right here, so I'm going to read off of them real quickly here. I decided to take that time from about 1 o'clock all the way till about 11:40 to get home. What did I make instead? So I would have made, for sure, $206. And who knows, maybe I would have got a tip, maybe I wouldn't. So there's that. It's roughly 9 hours worth of work, 400 something miles. And in fact, it ended up totally being, let's see here, about, I think the actual number ended up being my margin, $61.58. Again, I'm going to put the numbers here. But what if I would have drove in Ithaca? That's where I was going to go instead. What would I have done instead? Now, I didn't realize it, but it was homecoming weekend. Now, I should have been smarter in planning, and I should have gone to Ithaca no matter what, because homecoming weekend's a good weekend. But I ended up taking, 23 trips during that time period. That same time period I would have been going to New York City. And the total fare that I've gotten was $217. 1 for 1. So 206 versus 217. That's basically about the same. And on top of that, though, I got $24 in surges. And I just haven't had a lot of surges lately, so that felt pretty good. But here you go. This is the kicker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of those 23 trips tipped me $51.52. So I ended up making $293 during that time. And if I were to look at my margin during that time, my margin was 187 because I only drove 177 miles. So instead of driving the 467 miles it would have taken to do the other trip, I only drove 177 miles. So my margin was 187 versus 61. And so my revenue per hour, my profitability per hour was $19.65 by staying down in Ithaca versus $6.84. Now, none of these numbers are like, oh, Mom, Dad, look how much money I'm making, because it was still not the best. But you and I logically look at those long trips and go, that's probably not a good idea. And I wanted to put some math behind it. Basically, you can make more money on the trips that you decline. And that's Matt's wisdom, and that's what I wanted to talk with you today about. But even another way to look at it is with tipping. Tipping is a big part of my profitability. Without tips, I don't think I would even be able to Uber drive anymore. The thing is this, the more trips you take, the more tip opportunities that you get. That's the way I look at it. Meaning, if I had taken one trip, that's like I'm taking all of my gambling money and putting it on black. I may or may not hit. And at a 4.83, my gut feeling it was going to hit red. But when I take 20-something trips, I'm liable to get somewhere between, 8 to 12 tips, and I ended up getting 11. So again, I'm going to put the numbers up here. The exact numbers are not the real point. The exact point is this. You can make a lot of money by wisely declining certain trips. In addition to that, you can also make a lot of money with more tip opportunities. What do you think? Would you have taken that long trip? Maybe I'm wrong. The math didn't turn out that way, but maybe it's better to take the long trips in your area. And if you would have taken the trip, you would have done what I would have done. Let me know. I better get out of the road. I hope you're safe, healthy, and happy, and have a great day. Be well, know that I'm cheering for you. They're gonna start honking at me. Bye.